Apex predators may be the top of the food chain, but intelligent life soon comes in and trumps all life forms. Any species has the desire to increase its means of consumption, even its ability to consume sometimes. But with the means of consumption and the access of consumption that human beings have, the world cannot last very long. Because once a species becomes intelligent and increases its means of consumption, and that consumption is increased because the means are available, then that means the resources on a singular planet will falter. The Earth itself says, okay, you might be top of the food chain now, but I can't sustain you. And as far as us being superior or other species being superior in various ways, or even when it comes to gods, man, and spirits, there's an old Zen story. There was once this stone cutter. He was cutting into a mountain, getting the stone that he needed. And then he looked to his right, and he saw on the street a little ways away a merchant who had wonderful velvet clothing, a lot of money, a lot of people admiring him around him. And the stone cutter said, I wish I was like that. So in his next life, he became like that. The stone cutter became that wealthy merchant, that could spend as much money as he wanted, have whatever food he wanted, have whatever company he wanted. But when he was that merchant, he saw a nobleman being carried on a litter through the streets, and everybody had to bow before the nobleman, and everybody had to show respect. And so he wished he could be that nobleman. He could get that same respect that nobleman had. And in his next life, he got that respect. He was carried on a litter, he was bowed to, he was respected as royalty is, as somebody who is important in government is, as somebody who's important as far as lineage is. But then when he was carried on his litter one day, he looked up and he was very hot. He was sweating quite a bit. And he asked himself, what is this oppressive force that is shining upon me and me not being able to get away from the heat that it provides, that it forces onto me? He said, I want to be that sun. So in his next life, he was the sun. He could put light and heat wherever he wanted. He could scorch the fields and provide nourishment to the plants with his light rays. But then something got in his way. It was this really weird, misshapen thing that got in his way and stopped him from shining, stopped his heat and his light, and really his whole existence from getting down to earth. And he's like, what is this thing? He saw it was a cloud. In his next life, he said, I want to be a cloud. So he became that cloud. He became a cloud that blocked the sun, that rained to either create droughts or to create typhoons, to give too much water or less water. He became that cloud that controlled that part of the world, that part of the animal and plant world and the biosphere that we are a part of. He had that ability. He felt strong in that ability, and he loved to do that. He loved to have control over water, drought, and also plenty. So one day, he started pouring onto this, he started pouring down, and something kept on wiping his drops away. Something kept on pushing everything that he was doing away, both himself and the water that he put out. And he's like, what is this thing that can push me away from doing what I want to do? I want to be that. And it turned out to be wind. So in his next life, he became wind. When he became wind, he could blow down houses, he could blow away clouds, he could either give people comfort or discomfort based on what they wanted to feel. But there came a time when he started blowing against something that he couldn't topple over, that he couldn't affect, that he had no reign over in any way. And he's like, what is this thing that I cannot affect in any way, that I cannot reign over, that I cannot move? It is so solid. And this thing was a mountain. So in his next life, he wanted to be a mountain, so he was a mountain. And as a mountain, unmovable. Rain, especially temporary rain, sunlight, every element he was impervious to. And he was strong, he was still, he was large. And then he started to feel something. He started to feel a chipping away at his bottom, near the edge of the land where his mountain met, or well, his body met. He's like, there's something chipping away at me. All these things I can resist, but there is something still chipping away at me. And he's like, okay, if this thing can destroy me, this must be the ultimate existence. I want to be that person that can destroy me. And then he became that person in the next life, and he became a stone cutter. Nothing is superior. Everything is in its place. And to desire to be somebody else or in another position of any kind leads us on a cycle of desire, envy, that always comes full circle. And then, I'm not even talking about karma. All the actions we do come full circle. All the beings that we are come full circle. And there really is no superiority or inferiority. It is accepting one's understanding of life and working your path yourself. Whatever that path may be, whatever you want to do, you can do whatever you want to do. But just find peace in the fact that there is no superior or inferior. Thank you very much, and I hope all of you have a wonderful day.